Good evening, weirdos. We are back here. It's Thursday night with the Ultimate Guide to Spooky Empire. I think we're like episode 25 or something like that. Yes. I know. We got some new and improved Bachow. Okay. Hang on. Yes. Here. Bachow. Okay. Yes. Mascots, what are you going to do? Good evening, and we are back with another episode. We got some really fun and drama stuff to talk about tonight. First, I want to give, well, actually, you know what? Let's just get into the intro before we get into the disclaimer. We have Rob with us. Hello, Rob.
Good evening.
Oh, looks like you're drinking kind of fancy over there. What's that all about?
Oh, tonight I'm enjoying the warm and sensual flavors of Di Serono. Yes, Di Serono liqueur, an amaretto liqueur straight from Italy, so you know it's made from with quality. Whether you're out with friends on a night of the town or spending a special evening with that special someone,
Oh my God.
Di Serono.
A resident lush. We've got Adam back with us tonight.
Had another name, it would be.
Shut up, Rob.
Rob's still going on the Di Serono. I'm pretty sure. Is Di Serono a paid sponsor for this webcast?
Not an official sponsor, but Di Serono representatives. You could have this spot each and every week. Or other fine stories. Your product could be here.
All right, shut up. Hi, Adam.
Hey. Oh, aside from powerful lessons in capitalism, it's good to be here. I have it's a light Pinot Grigio of brand which I will not mention. It's irrelevant.
Oh,
it's sweet and delicious.
Look at you being fancy this evening. Speaking of fancy, I'm looking at that shirt you got going there. What's up with the shirt?
Oh, this is a relic from the Mayhem Spooky Empire. It's the unidentified fucking object, which is a little prop I made, little costume item for the celebrating Rob Zombie's Everybody's Fucking in the UFO video. Part of the costume, one of the costumes we did.
Which, if you haven't seen it, you definitely should see it. And since actually, I'm sitting here just drinking like the blood of, spooky haters. That's all this is.
I hear it's thick.
It's very thick. Okay, so speaking of that, we do want to get into the disclaimer, which we do in every single video. What we want to say, we are not Spooky Empire staff. We are not paid by Spooky. Spooky we are not representatives of Spooky. I don't have this in front of me, so forgive me here. But this is not a family-friendly podcast. Anything we say is just because we are longtime ongoers and fans, and we are not paid by Spooky. We're not compensated by Spooky. We, they fuck a lot. There we go. I think that's good enough.
we have an unexpected guest. He chose the exact moment we started the webcast to start bothering me about something.
Puppy! It's a dire wolf.
Yes. Winter is coming, I think he's trying to say. Either that or a poop is coming. I'm not sure which. Something seems urgent. It could be winter. I hope it's winter. It's really hot.
Yeah, that would be nice. I would like winter. But as we said, we did have a little drama. One of the things that we like to do is we go on the Spooky page and we look at what some of the guest requests are. And sometimes we discuss them because some of them are really great ideas. We did mention Neve Campbell. And the last time she was at Spooky, some of the feedback that we got was not so great. Now, granted, some people had some great experiences, and we had some discussion about Neve Campbell, and apparently we upset some people out there with our words.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, this webcast is not necessarily for everybody. We know that. But, as Spooky Con goers, as longtime attendees, we're not always going to have the same experiences as everybody else. We like to give everybody a well-rounded view of what to expect. If someone is known for being nasty, we want to kind of give you a heads up just so you're prepared. We're not trying to dissuade you from meeting anybody, and our experience does not negate your experience. To give you an example, Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell was at the very first Mayhem back in, I want to say, Rob, was it 2013?
No.
Earlier than that.
I think it's been 12, I think. No, it's been a while. 12,
Okay.
Maybe even early, maybe 2010.
As the Di Serono flies.
So
available at all fine bars and package stores.
Okay, so but when I met Bruce Campbell, I did not have such a great experience. So the story, to the point where the Old Spice I had signed, I ended up giving it away. But that doesn't mean, I mean, my story has nothing to do with what anybody, everybody else had great stories to tell. His Q&A was good, da-da-da-da-da. Another story, Linda Blair. Linda Blair, everyone knows her as being, apparently she's a bit of a bitch. I had nothing but wonderful and great experiences with her. The money that she got from the transaction apparently went to a horse charity or something like that. So I thought that was really cool. She was sweet to me. Point is, just because we have something that you might not necessarily agree with does not, we're not trying to dissuade you from meeting your fans, da-da-da. I mean, Rob, what do you got to say about this?
Yeah, man, everyone's going to have a different experience. It's been a long time since I've had, you know, a really bad experience with anyone in particular. It's either just good or, frankly, unmemorable. But, you know, it's going to be a little bit different for everyone. And you know what? Some of my favorite ones are ones that other people probably wouldn't even give a damn about anyway. So, hey, knock yourself out. These are just our opinions and our experiences. And if yours differ, that's okay. Like, some people don't enjoy a glass of amaretto in the evening. They think it's gauche.
All right. Anyway, so one of the other guest requests that was mentioned on the page was Jared Leto, actually. And funnily enough, we did dig up a Reddit AMA. And if you don't know what a Reddit AMA is when a celebrity comes in and the forum people can ask them anything. You can ask them, you know, whether the toilet paper goes over or under. You can ask them, you know, what kind of pants they're wearing, whatever. And it was kind of ascertained by the people in the forum that Jared wasn't necessarily being very friendly. We've heard some stories that, you know, Jared wasn't so nice. And one of the things that we brought him up because, you know, he is an A-list celebrity. And as we said before, if we bring an A-list celebrity into Spooky, you have to kind of go with the flow. And, you know, when you have to pay $100 and wait 4 hours in line because, you know, Marilyn Manson shows up. So, but I mean, you know, I think you had something to say about Jared, didn't you, Adam?
Oh, well, you know, it's funny. We talk about our opinions objectively as much as we can. Sometimes it's subjectively, like you said, like so-and-so was an asshole or whatever. That's fine. I mean, with Jared, it's like, you know, I mean, I had heard a couple things about how he was on like the set of the Joker, being the Joker, stuff like that. I don't really know anything about the 30 Seconds to Mars times of his. I can't really speak holistically about him.
Of course.
You know, I mean, it's you know, objectively, I don't have any input. Actually, what I thought was kind of misunderstood was last webcast when I mentioned Neve Campbell. And I said, is she relevant? And it's like, that was a fairly innocuous term, really. I mean, I actually looked her up, and you know what? She is relevant. She's actually in 2 projects right now, a movie called Skyscraper and a movie called Hot Air. Those are coming out next year. Way to go, Neve.
Are either of them horror, at least?
Hot Air is not. It's about a right-wing talk show host and whose life takes a sudden turn. And Skyscraper is actually, the plot is under wraps. It's like a hostage action thriller. So maybe some blood, but not a horror movie.
I suppose relevant.
You know who made a good hostage action thriller movie? Anna Nicole Smith. She made one where she was a helicopter pilot and Andrew Dice Clay was the bad guy. So
Andrew Dice Clay.
Yes, the Dice Man.
The Dice Man.
Oh my God. But we do have someone in the chat room, because I am trying to keep an eye on the chat as well, that just said, I have met the same celebrity on 3 different occasions, and each time was different. 1 time was great, 2 times not so much, and the 3rd time, you know, the guy sucked. So yeah, I mean, you know, it's quite possible that Neve may have had a bad weekend when she was at Spooky. You know, that's quite possible. So when we do talk about guests and we do talk about guest requests or our experiences or our thoughts, take it with a grain of salt. If you like someone, don't let anything we say dissuade you. If you're happy waiting in line and you know, just giving over a cash transaction to somebody, really, why should what we say, why should that matter? So that's something that we definitely want to get out of the way, because I know some people were a little bit upset, you know, and just so, you know, like,
think of us as the review section in Amazon. Take it or leave it.
People like to troll those sections too, though.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I mean, if you disagree with us, that doesn't mean that, by all means, disagree with what we say. Be an adult about it.
Fun fact, on Amazon, I once left a review for Sonic Generations, a video game, and the very first reply, because I gave a low score, and the very first reply was, okay, you shouldn't write any more reviews from this point on. So, yes, people don't like it when you disagree with them. Shocker of the world.
That's okay. That's why we're here, because I guess what, especially if you're going to watch this webcast, we're going to piss you off.
Hopefully.
So, on that note,
I hope so.
Let's move on to something else that'll piss people off.
Yeah.
Well, actually, before we do that, one thing I did want to bring up, if you have not subscribed before, we're moving channels. There's a whole little thing going on I'm not going to get into and bore you with, but do subscribe to the channel. Check out previous episodes. We're in the process of moving the channel over. We have a new logo and the whole 9 yards. Please bear with us while we're doing that. We hope to have that finished in the next week or so. So if you have not, hit the subscribe button. So, Rob, you were about to say.
Nothing. I was just saying we're going to move on to something new.
Captain Segway.
Oh, okay.
Something switchy, so,
We'll segue in a second. Now that I'm actually looking at my notes here, I'm actually semi-awake this week. Even though usually what the other guy say, I was ignorant or half asleep or something like that. I don't remember what the hell it was. Not that I'm not, of course. But I did. Speaking of the guests, one of the things I definitely did want to mention. Spooky had a sale this week. I'm not sure if the sale is still going on, but they were doing 20% off, and that was including the VIPs, which was really, really awesome. Comments in the thread about, oh, well, I'm not going to, get any tickets until I see who the guests are. All right, here's something that we need to talk about, people. Now, at other cons, like say MegaCon or Walker Stalker, I understand. But let's, and we haven't talked about this in a while, but when it comes to Spooky Empire is not just about guests. A lot of these conventions you go to, and it's pretty much an autograph room, a vendor room, and maybe a band or two, and that's it. But Spooky is an entire experience. Not only do they have, like the zombie walk and, sometimes they have Mucklebone, sometimes they have the burlesque, the pool parties. There's always tons of stuff going on. There's a reason that we've all become family, and that's because, I can't tell you how many times we've gone and a guest that, we weren't interested in anyone on the guest list, but some of the guests have turned out to be some of our favorites. And there's another one that we're going to talk about in a little bit that's happened with. But if you're waiting just to see who's announced as guests, you're only getting like 20% of the picture. So, I mean, would you guys agree on that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the guests are great. I mean, the guests power the pop culture that brings us together, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's the movies, it's the stories, it's the special effects. But Spooky, like you said, it's got a couple facets others don't. You're not going to find a giant hall of tattoo artists at Comic-Con. Right.
Exactly.
Maybe someday that would be interesting if they added that.
Agreed.
But and then you've got the pool party aspect of it, the socialization, and the fact that everybody just kind of comes together and that stuff. The costume stuff, the merchandise, the artists are amazing, every one of them. This is a whole prism you can turn any way you want. You're gonna have a good time. Well, I would be interested to know if anybody, in the comments or maybe on Facebook later, if they want to, chime in, like, have you ever had a bad Spooky because of the guest list?
That's a good question.
Maybe somebody has. I'm not going to rule that out, but I feel like that would be an exception to the rule.
No, I agree.
Kind of convention.
All right.
Dissenting opinion here. Now, look, I'm pretty much of the opinion. I will agree that, I think I've missed in over the 12 years or 15 years, however long it's been going on, I think I've missed 2 shows. And even those 2, I think I still showed up for maybe a day. I'm going to put out Spooky. And that I know that I'm going to put out. It's understood, but don't treat me like a whore. Just give me something, something of good faith that you're trying to encourage me to come. Show me that you want me to attend. I got to have something in place. And it doesn't have to be a guest announcement. Like the casino, night for this year, that's good enough for me to throw down some money. But I don't like to just blindly put down my money for anything, even if I assume it's going to be a great time. So, you know, tickle my asshole a little bit. Give me something, and I'll put out for you, and I'll go, and you can have my money, and I'll be your little whore. But you got to give me something just for my own self-respect.
Now, he's got a good point. Yeah, you got to tickle the asshole to get the money. That's some good street wisdom, Rob. And you know what that also goes for is new attendees. We speak from the perspective of veterans who've been going again and again. But every year there's new people. So, okay, I totally see your point, Rob. That's a good point.
They want new people. The convention doesn't grow if new people, if it's just us year after year, it's not going to grow anywhere. And in fact, some people die off. You know, some people, particularly at this convention, they don't look both ways when they cross the street. We need new blood every year. So, you know, more information you can put out, and the sooner you can put it out there, it's good for everyone.
Yeah. No, and I'm absolutely not disagreeing with you, but that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring it up, is just because, just to remind people that we are not like other conventions where you don't necessarily have to wait for a new guest announcement. Now, sure, that's fantastic. And like you said, they have all sorts of stuff like casino night, and, you know, you might have like a car and hearse show, stuff like that. But, and I agree, sure, you know, these are things that you want to know, but that's what I'm saying to these people that are saying, oh, well, I'm not going to pay any money till I see a guest announcement. I'm letting you know you will not regret getting a ticket, because there's going to be something there for you regardless, even if, you know, your big A-list celebrity name isn't there. That's all my point was. You did bring up the casino night.
Yeah.
We did have some information on that, so.
Yeah, it's, you know, I wasn't on the last podcast, and I think I am the only one who has actually been to the poker nights where they were previously. So I did want to throw in my 2 cents. First of all, you know, if you want to feel good about yourself, please remember this is like the proceeds, a big chunk of them anyway, go to a local charity, CECO. It's the Conductive Education Center of Orlando, and it's a nonprofit center for children with mobility disabilities. So, you know, or motor disabilities, excuse me. So that ranges anywhere from children with cerebral palsy to people who have, you know, disabilities so they can't walk, can't use their legs, arms, for a variety of reasons. And so money does go for a good cause. But perhaps more importantly to some people, it's a really, really good time. In past, it's always been, you know, a celebrity poker tournament. I don't know if that's happening this year. They haven't made it clear or not. You know,
there's going to be celebrities, but we don't know who or anything.
I'll tell you this. Kane Hodder, in all likelihood, will show up at this convention. He's not announced yet. Kane rarely misses this convention.
He's a staple.
And Kane has been at every celebrity poker tournament that I was a part of. And, you know, he always does really well. He's a good poker player. First year I was at his table, and, you know, he kind of joked with me a little bit, just kind of pointing out how bad of a player I was.
Yeah, I know. Here, go away. Sorry.
So
bats, what are you going to do?
You know, the last year they did it, the second year they did it, I was actually seated with Brian Steele. Yeah, Brian Steele. He was, and basically he was he's just a guy who, in a lot of the Guillermo del Toro movies, he'll always be a big monster in a suit because the guy's like 6'10". He's just a hunking giant side of beef, big dude. And he won the whole thing in the second year, or at least the second year that I played.
Wow.
Real cool guy too. Yeah, and then the last year I think the last year they did it when we were, that one-off year we were at the Hilton. Mm-hmm. And that year, I don't recall if they had anyone playing. I think Kane still played, but they actually had celebs dealing at the tables for a while. So, you know, so it's always been a lot of fun. I see no reason why it won't be this year. And they've also expanded it now, so it's poker, but they'll have roulette, and I believe they're going to have blackjack as well. So, you know, if anyone's been on the fence about this, go. It is worth, it's absolutely worth the $50 entrance or the $50 donation. And I will say, if you do go, particularly if you're playing the Texas Hold'em with me, bring the extra $25 for the buy-in, because you'll want it, because everyone else is going to do it too for the extra chips. So if you're going to really want to compete, plan on it.
I suck at poker.
Then you know what? You can play roulette, because you don't need skill at roulette. It's all chance.
All right, I'm down. I'll do the roulette.
Yay!
Now, Rob, how long does this go on? How long do these usually last?
Jesus Christ. That's a funny story. The first year they did it, they actually had it Sunday morning. Let me tell you, if you thought there's zombies at the convention most of the time, watch people coming in at 10 a.m. to play poker on a Sunday.
After Saturday night, yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. The last time at the Hilton, it was long. I remember I talked to one woman who was at my table. I did really well at first, and then after the break, I went from chip leader to losing all of my money like 20 minutes after the break. But I talked to one woman who was next to me later, and she said it went on to like 2:30 in the morning. I mean, it went
nice.
So yeah, these people were playing for keeps, and a lot of good players too. So I mean, you'll have fun no matter what. And like I said, truth be told, as much as I like poker, I suck at it, and I still manage to do respectable when I go. So go.
Yeah. We're getting in the chat room that the sale ended on Saturday, and I'm getting conflicting information. I'm seeing that the sale ended Saturday and that it's going until this Saturday. So just the 20% off that I mentioned.
I think it's this Saturday. I think I remember still seeing the ad this week.
Yeah, so check the Spooky page on that.
Yeah. Well, it was the 4th of July sale, so we are getting into July here. So we'll see.
That is very true. Really? Okay. Speaking of people that were at the casino night, we actually wanted to talk about a couple of the guests that are coming in. I know the Crypt Keeper, John Kassir, I think.
Love that guy. Oh my God, John Kassir is amazing.
Tell us about John Kassir.
I saw him at Spooky. I think it was a couple years ago. It might have been 3 years ago. I lose track.
Yeah, they run together after a while.
As the spooky flies, it was like yesterday. He's one of those guests where he really engages with the Q&A. Every so often you'll get a guest where you're just like, oh, please just keep telling your stories before the Q&A starts. But the way John Kassir wrangles the Q&A is he's enthusiastic and passionate about all of the work he's done. God, just getting him going on the Crypt Keeper alone is fantastic. But it was a few years ago that Laura and I were in the audience, and she got the microphone for Q&A and asked him about the Crypt Jam. If you don't know what the Crypt Jam is, it's a super fat beat hip hop with the Crypt Keeper. There's a whole music video. It is amazing. It's on YouTube. You can find it. Just look up.
Yeah, we'll link it. We'll definitely link it.
Please do. So yeah, he suddenly got excited because I guess not everybody, even the fans, knew this happened. This beautiful piece of art happened. So he started freestyling the Crypt Keeper in the microphone, with no beats behind it. And Laura joins in, and it was this really fun Crypt Jam moment. But definitely. And everybody who's listening, watching, go check out John Kassir if you're going to be at the convention. You won't be sorry you stood in line for that one.
It's funny that you mentioned that. Because I know in the 80s, that was like a big thing. Because I know like Freddie has a rap, and then there's like Alice Cooper did a Mike Myers thing. And there's like, I think you're not like a major player in horror unless you've had an 80s rap done about you. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we kind of have Michael Jackson to blame for the Thriller starting it with pop. But, and then they just, of course, 90s were all about hip hop. I thank DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince for that. But, you're right. Yeah. You're right. Anybody who's who.
John Kassir, if I remember correctly, he does record voice messages as the Crypt Keeper, and I think last I checked, it was like $25 or something like that. But he'll do your like outgoing voicemail as the Crypt Keeper, and not a lot of celebrities do that. One of the things that I like about guests like this is you may not necessarily go for someone like that. He may not be like the headliner, but you'll come away with a fantastic story. You'll come away with an experience. This is someone who really loves his fans, really loves interacting, someone that is really enthusiastic, not only about the fans, but Spooky itself. So you're guaranteed to come away with a good story. So it's just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, he loves it. He really does. He's a great guest. We have some other guests coming. We got CJ Graham.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the one and only.
Graham actually, CJ Graham apparently is doing a photo op. Now, this is something that's interesting and I wanted to talk about because A lot of celebrities seem to be doing this now. I know Dee Snider did this before. He did the big Twisted Sister photo op. And there was another celebrity whose name escapes me where there was a photo op with them as well. So if you want to take a picture with Jason, I see you. I look on Rob's face.
No, well, Bill, what's his name from House of Thousand Corpses was doing
Mosley. That's right. Bill Mosley, House of Thousand Corpses.
So I'm saying it pop up other words. Now this is an interesting one though, and I do have a little maybe issue. It's my own little thing with it. He's dressing up as Jason. He's wearing a hockey mask.
Yeah.
What's if you can't tell who it is? Is it really that special of a picture? Now it's a $60 off, and if you want it, by all means go for it. Afford it? I have a suggestion. A good friend of mine named Will, who does the Convicts podcast, costume. He's won contests with it. It's spot on. One of those hockey masks, and then the mask underneath the mask. It's great. $20 for a picture with him. You can say it's CJ Graham. I won't tell anyone. It'll just be our secret. We'll get a cut. But I'll still take 50%. It's Boss Hog reference.
He'll donate. Yeah.
Just saying.
Rob, this is why children cry.
It's a cruel world out there. I'm trying to help people out who can't afford $60. That's all. Nothing else.
Yeah, it is $60. That's true, and I think you have to pre-sign up for it. I'm not sure, but it is on the spooky page. CJ Graham, Friday the 13th. It's, with the Jason, regardless of what Rob says. One of the things that
for the real Friday the 13th fans, it's awesome. Congrats! You'll have a great photo op. For the people who are on the fence, $20. I got the hookup.
I think Rob.
But one of the things.
Okay, wait. I think, Rob, that the people who would get gratification out of being in a photo with CJ Graham with no evidence that CJ Graham is in it are the same people who walk around smiling a little wider because they're wearing leopard skin bikini underwear.
And there's a lot of those at Spooky. I've been to the pool after midnight.
So just saying that those, I think that's the demographic, the sub niche third demographic. That is all.
All right. $30. You get the photo op and a pair of leopard spot G-string. Speedos, G-string, your choice. You have to sign up ahead of time though, so we can get the numbers right.
You can't afford not to. All right.
Oh God, we can't take him anywhere. But I do like that this is happening now. That this is a new wave in horror cons that we're seeing with these celebrity photo ops that I'm actually a fan of. I'm not a fan of the whole Olin Mills, nonsense, and it's pretty much a cattle call. But the fact that they're actually doing things like Robert Englund has done a few cons where he's actually done his Freddy makeup, for example. So getting a picture not just with the actor but the character. It's worth it. Yes.
There's a mute button for a reason. Oh, great. DiSerrano.
My God.
Love you, Rob.
But that's something that's the John Kassir and CJ Graham, those are the two right now. Actually, and speaking of which, there are some guest suggestions that we've seen on the page actually that we want to bring up. I mean, there's a couple like there was what's his name? The voice of Ghostface, was it Roger Jackson? I think it was. Someone asked for Nev Campbell again. I guess.
Yeah. I want to ask her about her character portrayal of Valerie Gannon in the upcoming hit movie Hot Air, released in 2018.
Now we're gonna have to make Hot Air a thing.
I'm gonna cosplay it.
Oh my God.
She's just a normal woman.
Amazing. That's awesome. Rob, I think you have a list of some of the other people that. Oh, wait, is that there? Okay, that's fine. All right, thought I had a technicality there. All right, so Rob, some other people that were requested on the page.
Well, I've got one in particular that stood out, and someone asked for the cast of Night Trap which was a Sega CD game from around '94. They're doing a 25th anniversary, maybe '92. Anyway, they're doing a 25th anniversary re-release for it on PlayStation 4 and I think maybe Xbox. If anyone doesn't know Night Trap, it was a full motion video game on the Sega CD. This is, going way back, one of the first games like that. The game was complete and utter garbage, but really controversial. It got like the mature audiences rating, which video games never got. And the most remarkable thing is that it starred Dana Plato.
Wow.
From Strokes. So, the game was really not that good. It was a complete failure, but it was so bad it's kind of created its own legacy. So I am all for this idea. It's still a bad idea though, because Dana Plato's dead, and she was really the only famous person in the game. I don't even think half of the cast ever acted again outside of this one video game. And again, it really wasn't. Most people don't really know about it. There's only a small group of people that really even find it, humorously bad now. They did get the anniversary edition remade, but they tried to do a Kickstarter for it like a year or two ago, and I think it raised all of like 15% of the goal.
Oh,
so there's not a big audience or a big demand for this, and the goal wasn't even big. It was like $330,000, and it raised less than $40,000. So I mean, it was not a success by any means.
Yeah.
So
I don't see that happening. I don't see that.
I don't think it would either. But you know what? I'm right there with you. Whoever said Night Trap Cast, I'm also a fan of shit. So you have my.
Well, you know what?
Okay.
Maybe you can go have your own convention, Rob. It could be a Night Trap Con.
It'll be me and 3 other people. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be in the lobby of a Holiday Inn. Have fun with that.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the other names that actually stood out, Derek Mears and Tyler Main. Now, Derek does show up regularly, and he is a fan favorite. Big guy. Just don't take his picture when he's not at the table. He doesn't like that. And Tyler Main, who's fantastic, who's just massive in person. I don't give a fuck about he's Michael Myers, whatever. He's Sabretooth. Someone actually mentioned Jennifer Tilly, who has been on my wish list forever. And not just for Bound. Jennifer Tilly, who actually is a massive poker player. Isn't that right, Ron?
Yeah, well, I don't know about massive poker player, but I remember she was on one of those celebrity poker shows once before, so, and she did well.
Well, I mean, if she's really good at it, that's obviously something she likes to do. So, yeah. Considering Curse of Chucky's coming out, I'm all for Jennifer Tilly. So, I love everything she's done. So, it'd be nice to see Jennifer Tilly. We need more Scream Queens anyway. A couple people have asked for the It cast. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say Jennifer Tilly. For those who don't know, she has the horror movie creds, but man, she's done a lot of work as a voiceover actress in Family Guy. She was in Monsters, Inc., all kinds of stuff. She's got a hell of a videography.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been asking PD for her for years and years and years. She's probably the top female guest on my list. And the It cast, since obviously Pennywise is going to be the big thing, everyone's asking for not just the classic It cast, which I don't even know for the classic It cast. I mean, who other than even does cons? Do we know?
Let's see. John Ritter's dead.
Yep.
I don't think he's showing.
I don't think.
No, is that his character from Night Court?
Oh man.
The judge from Night Court. He was in It.
Yeah, Harry Anderson.
Yeah, okay, that was his name, Harry Anderson.
Yeah, Harry Anderson was the lead.
But I don't really remember. Well,
Annette O'Toole.
Yeah,
I've never seen any of those people on your list. So.
Yeah.
So I mean, it would be interesting, but I don't know. But yeah, so people are asking for It, which means we're probably going to see a ton of Pennywise cosplay. So that probably will be on the bingo. Let's see. And I thought this was interesting. Someone actually asked for Bret Michaels.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the question I have, and that's right, I'm going to be the bitch. With Bret Michaels, would he charge extra for the wig? That's what I want to know.
he would charge extra for not wearing the wig. Never been seen. No one's seen the top of his head in 15 years.
You know, I mean, it's with all the money he's made from his reality TV shows and all that. You think he could afford enough to actually get some quality extensions?
I don't know. I don't know. I think it's his thing. He's not going to take the bandana thing off.
Yeah, I know, but get some good extensions. I mean, you know, you can have some human hair. It's just bad.
Okay,
you know, that's right. Come at me, fight me.
I wouldn't pay to see Brett. I'd pay to see CC DeVille.
Oh yeah, I'd pay to see CC.
CC's
nutcase and out there. So yeah, I'd come away with a story for CC DeVille. Bret Michaels. Hey, you know, if that's what you want to do, fine. So fight me. I don't care. Let's see. Bret Michaels. What the hell? All right. Of course, Marilyn Manson. People always ask for Marilyn Manson, but yes.
Not to plug another convention, but if you are in the Orlando area and you do like people like Bret Michaels, there is 80s in the Park that takes place, I think, in Melbourne. It's like a weekend long, you know, it's just, yeah, in September, just hair metal band after hair metal band from the 80s, and then 80s cover bands, and how they even get like Tawny Katane and Bobby Brown. She was the Cherry Pie video girl, and you know, they show up and they'll stuff. So if you really like people like that, check out 80s in the Park. Just my little tip to you.
About 80s in the Park, while I agree with you, they get like George Lynch from Dokken, not Dokken, but like someone from Dokken, and they'll get like someone from Winger, but not lead singer. They don't get Kip, but they get someone else from Winger. You know, that's what they do. They get like these third-tier bands, like Enough's Enough, who I happen to be a fan of, but they get, you know, Helix.
So it's, like I said, go check out the Facebook page or the website, 80s in the Park, whatever it is. Just, like I said, I'm not saying it's the greatest thing in the world. I've never actually been. It's one of those things that, like,
people have been.
And then I'm like, well, I got to save money for Spooky, so I skip it every year. But, you know.
Now, here's an interesting thing. A lot of people, I saw a couple of people asking for Bobby Steele from the Misfits and the Undead. Okay, I've got Mike. Apparently, Daddy Mike's in the chat room, so it's apparently he's talking up a storm.
And who's he rooting for? Who's he rooting for?
Actually, let's take a look. Let's see. Oh, he was saying that no one from the It Cast, you know, does cons. He wants to meet Jennifer. Yeah, let's see. He wants to do Jennifer Tilly. Erica, of course, is talking about Rob pouring out liquor. And of course, stop with the dirty word. Okay.
Made in Italy.
God. All right, let's see. Bret Michaels apparently is playing the Hard Rock the same weekend at Spooky, so that's why someone's asking for him, I guess. Horror and Sons. Sons is a semi-professional poker player, and she's won a couple World Poker Tour bracelets, so that would be nice. Daddy Mike would like to have Anthony Michael Hall come back. He's absolutely a fan favorite. And Horror and Sons and Rob, like, I got to tell you this, Horror and Sons is saying that friends don't let friends go to 80s in the Park.
Advice taken. I've never been.
People like go.
No. Yeah. Okay. But going back to Bobby Steele here, if you are a fan of punk at all, let me actually, you know, I'm gonna see him to use a screen share on this. That somebody mentioned Mike. If we all know little Mike, that's kind of mini Petey. He and his wife actually met Bobby Steele, and that was one of the nicest stories I've heard. And we're talking about guests that you don't necessarily go to Spooky for, but you come away with a massive, massive story. Mike and Sabrina went up to him at his table where he and his wife were. He never asked, like, what do you want? He just started talking. We started talking about bands and telling each other about bands we'd never heard of. They were so excited to be there. They were having a great time. You could see it in their faces, the way they were talking about the show. Hell, his wife wanted to take us around the vendors to show us everything that they had fallen in love with. I think we talked for about 20, 30 minutes before he asked if there was something we would like to buy or have autographed. Just really down-to-earth people. I get ended up getting a sealed cassette of his that he had sitting in a warehouse, even had him sign it. It was one of my favorite guest experiences I've ever had. And that's not the first time I've heard stuff like that. I've heard, people giving him artwork and him like coming close to breaking down in tears. Someone who was just genuinely happy to be there, genuinely happy to talk to his fans, and just loved the whole atmosphere and loved being at a convention. So Bobby Steele, if they do invite him back, that's someone I intend on meeting. I didn't get a chance to meet him last time, but I've heard nothing but amazing things about him.
Oh. Wow, sounds like a really cool guy.
I'd love these down to earth. Just guess that you never would think that would be, John Kassir. I would never go to a con to meet John Kassir, but after all the stories I've heard, I'm like, I'm lining up, so.
That's cool. I never knew really anything about Bobby Steele. That's great.
Well, I mean, if you know anything about the Misfits.
Right, very little.
Yeah. Oh, and fun fact, I'm looking at the chat now. Apparently they're saying cosplay is the dirty word, so you can't say cosplay. That's C word. That's bad. I'm going to have to send Dandridge after you now.
Oh, why can't we say that? What's wrong with it? Is it? I mean, I'm not really someone who says it all the time, but is like, what's wrong?
Rob, you want to take this one?
Hit me, Rob.
I'm actually kind of in the dark on this one. I thought cunt was the C word you couldn't say.
No. All right, fine. I will take this.
Take
cosplay is the dirty word because there's costuming and there's cosplay. Those of us that have been doing, we're elitist and purist. Those of us been doing this for a long time and seek to do the character justice and seek to replicate what's on the page or what's on the screen, and to seek to embody that character. We're costumers, we pay attention to detail. We're trying to bring things to life. Whereas cosplay is, well, playing. It's, let's dress up, have a good time, da-da-da-da-da. They're not the quote-unquote serious artists that costumers are. So it's like if you take your art seriously and it's an art form to you, you're a costumer, cosplayer. And so it's among a number of costuming artists, the C word is cosplay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I can say, no one will mind.
Say what?
No one will mind. Cunt.
I don't care.
It's not as good as the D word, is it, Rob?
D. Oh,
oh my God.
Fellas,
Oh.
She wants the D.
The Italian D.
The Italian. Big Italian D.
Speaking of the D, there was one other request. Yeah, shut up. One other guest request that I thought was a really great suggestion, and I was actually surprised at Richard Dreyfuss. From Jaws fame. From what I understand, Richard Dreyfuss has done conventions. I looked it up. He's done Chiller, and he's done Dallas Comic-Con Sci-Fi Expo.
Wow, that's cool.
In the past few years. So Richard Dreyfuss, I would like to meet the great Dr. Leo Marvin personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, Rob, what about Richard Dreyfuss?
You know what? I'm a big fan of American Graffiti, so I'm going to go back to one of his early roles, and yeah, totally there. Totally would see Richard Dreyfuss.
Okay.
I would in a heartbeat. He's been in tons of stuff. He's got a huge. Yeah, I don't think there's. I wonder how much quality time guests could get with him, or is it like a sign and move on kind of thing? Because man, that guy's got some stories.
What? Once he had a panel, I would just love to hear him tell some stories.
Yeah.
Around for that long in so many epic movies, that guy has to have some great stories.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
I just want to hear about Bill Murray. Baby steps out of the apartment,
Oh my God!
Baby
steps to the elevator. That's all I want to hear about.
I gotta be honest, not aged well. It's just really, really creepy now. Yeah, I used to find that movie a lot funnier. Now when I watch it, I'm like, this guy should have been in jail immediately. This is wrong.
I will say this on Richard Dreyfuss. According to his IMDb filmography, he is still relevant, much like Neve Campbell. Did you know in the upcoming 2018 blockbuster action movie Skyscraper, starring Neve Campbell, she is performing alongside the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Ooh.
Who is also a 2020 presidential contender, apparently, if one is to believe the news wire. So we should get her to Spooky, so we're all one link removed from The Rock. Or maybe she'll bring The Rock. I'm down.
That would be nice.
Let's make it happen.
I'm in.
Moving on.
Okay, let's see. Daddy Mike just said that Tony Todd is another great guest, and I agree. Erica is talking about cosplay, you know, just not to show tits, which, well, yeah, that's a whole nother conversation, whole nother show. Let's see. Daddy Mike, I had a great time talking with him about some of his projects. I don't know who. Oh, Tony Todd. Okay. Yeah, we're talking about Tony Todd now. Bill Nye. No, Nighy. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Nighy.
Oh,
wait, is that obviously not the same Bill Nye?
Yeah, Nighy. I'm not sure who it is.
That must be awkward. Like, I mean, you know, it's one thing to wear the same dress or shirt as somebody to a party, but having the name Bill Nye.
That's how you pronounce it. I don't know.
Why did I change his name? He one sucks.
All right. Well, let's see if I can get the screen share going here. One of the things I did want to talk about just very quickly, Spooky Days. You know, we really haven't talked a lot about that just because Spooky Days really hasn't announced a lot. I think they've pretty much said everything they've needed to say. So if you got your tickets, that's fine. But that's something that I think we really should bring up, though. Let me bring this up real quick. Okay. Now, if you see this. You see all that garbage? Apparently that was a picture that was taken recently at Disney. Now, I've been going to Disney for many years, and I've never seen that happen. Now, while I've seen this at Spooky, I want you guys to realize if you're going to Disney for Spooky Days, don't do this.
Yeah.
The cast members are by far the most unsung heroes out there. The crap that they put up with is beyond ridiculous. So please, go out of your way to be nice to cast members. Please don't leave trash like this. This is not a frat party. Don't do this. This is an absolute travesty. And I just wanted to give you just some basic Disney tips as far as like if you've never been to Disney before or if you've only been a couple of times. Always hydrate. If you're staying on property, by all means, use the Disney property transportation because it's free. The cast members, comfortable shoes, especially if you're going to be Disney bounding. Trust me, you're going to be walking around the parks a lot, so comfortable shoes, because otherwise you're just going to really, really hurt yourself, and you don't want to spend your Disney vacation, you know, just sitting around. The other thing I did want to bring up, granted, it's going to be in September, so you're not necessarily going to get a lot of rain, but if it does rain in the parks and you have to wear, you know, get one of the ponchos from the parks, it's like $10, where you can go to the dollar store and get them from the dollar store beforehand. So that's something, you know.
How much is it at the dollar store?
I don't know. Why don't you ask DiSerono? Maybe they know.
Oh, bottle of DiSerono. What is the answer to my question?
Oh my God. Okay.
$10.
Just something I wanted to mention as far as Disney, just some basic Disney tips and stuff. And moving on from that, I think Adam had some of the local events around town for those of us that are waiting for Spooky Days or waiting for Spooky. There's a few things going on.
Yeah. There's actually there is something tonight. I'll mention it just because it's probably the art itself will stay there. There's a horror art gallery show happening tonight. That's at the 36 Black Art Collective is throwing that. Well, that's happening tonight. You've missed the event, but it's you've missed the event, but it's an art showing. So yeah, it's open. It's open all the time. So just because you missed the opening, whenever you see an art event in town, keep in mind those galleries keep showing that art for weeks at a time, sometimes even longer. So don't feel like you missed the opening. Oh no, it's out. No, it's relevant still. So check that out. It's a horror gallery art show. The venue is 36 Black Art Collective. It's downtown Orlando. You can find it on Facebook. You can also find it linked and actually after tonight it'll be in the past events at the Ultimate Guide to Spooky Empire's Ultimate Horror Weekend Facebook page. Also coming up, we got a couple of other things. This Saturday, our friends at Gods and Monsters have their new Bar Lounge, it's Vault 5421. Their grand opening is Saturday.
Yes. The Mad Max post-apocalyptic bar.
Yeah, can't wait to see that. I'm going to check that out. They've clearly, based on the pictures I've seen, they've gone head to toe with that place. It's going to be awesome. There's speaking of culture and film, we've got the Enzion Movie Theater. If anybody doesn't know what the Enzion Theater is in Orlando by now, you should. It's an awesome independent theater. It's off of 1792 on the north end of Orlando. They've got some cool stuff coming up as we get toward the Halloween spooky season. Check it out. September 12th, Beetlejuice. Hell yes.
Ooh.
Uh-huh. And on October 3rd, they're going to be throwing Poltergeist to the screen. How awesome is that? Yeah, I know.
Rob will be saying that.
Yeah. And
he's going to be hiding. No, Rob doesn't like Poltergeist.
No? Oh, come on. I saw that when I was like 7, way too early, and he's gone.
He saw it when he was 6, and no.
Yeah, it's that's terrible. Check it out. They're actually going to do, moving into October, it just keeps getting better. They've got The Blob, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Yeah, serious. Bram Stoker's Dracula. It just keeps getting better. I'm not going to list them all out, but you can go to enzion.org or just Google Enzion Orlando. You can see their whole lineup. And as they get up to October, keep an eye. Those kinds of cult classics will sell out fast. So yeah, get on that. So there's a lot of stuff as we get closer to spooky time.
Yay! And speaking of which, actually, before I talk about this, let me actually look at the chat again real quick. I've been hearing a lot of people talk about this lately. Blood Drive. Blood Drive apparently is a show, and I'm just learning about it, so I haven't watched it yet. But Blood Drive is apparently a show on Sci-Fi. Now, normally I stay away from Sci-Fi just because I think Sci-Fi is a crap channel, and but Blood Drive, I've been hearing a lot of people talk about this. Sure, but I've heard a few people talking about this, so maybe this is something worth looking into. Anyone know anything about Blood Drive?
No, but I'm about to, thanks to the power of the internet.
Okay, apparently we're all stupid. And this Bill Nye guy, if we remember, the lead vampire in Underworld.
Oh.
The British guy that was the lead vampire. Yeah, so that's who he is.
Awesome. He's great. I love that guy.
Yeah, so that's who we're looking for. Apparently that's Daddy Mike's request for spooky. So okay, there's that. All right, so yeah, Blood Drive, that's something I definitely got to look into. I don't know anything about the show, so I need to catch up. And the other thing I wanted to mention, I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on Quentin Tarantino's this whole news that apparently he's going to be doing a Manson Murders movie. Mm-hmm. He's apparently going to do an original take, that because apparently we haven't heard the story yet other than 39 times. What do you guys think about this news that Tarantino is going to do a Manson movie?
I don't. Go ahead, Rob. Let me hear your thoughts.
Tarantino's original plan was he wanted to make 10 movies, that for his entire film-making career.
Yep.
And he wanted to try to explore a lot of different genres along the way. I guess this is his take on the true story genre or subgenre, whatever you want to define that as. I don't have an issue with it. I mean, I have to admit I really haven't liked his last couple movies as much as I liked his earlier ones. I mean, I love Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill, Jackie Brown. I mean, those were, do no wrong, excellent movies. Wasn't really a fan of well, actually, I take it back. I did like Django Unchained up until the last 30 minutes, and I think a friend once said, Django Unchained was like you went on a really great date, you went out to dinner, had a wonderful time, great conversation, you walk the girl to her home, give her a kiss, and then she says, hey, you want to come in for a little bit more? Even better, you think. And then she walks in, stands up on a table, and takes a shit right in front of you and tells you to get out. Pretty accurate, I think.
It's what Siskel and Ebert would have said.
It's what they would have said.
Sounds about right.
And he definitely was not a real much of a fan outside of a few particular scenes of The Hateful Eight. So, yeah. I mean, he's on the downslide for me, but I wouldn't write it off. I'm like, go ahead, give it a shot. I'm probably, I don't have not that I don't have faith in him, but it's just I have fallen out of favor with the man.
Mm-hmm.
So the stuff doesn't bother me one way or the other. But that's just where I am with Tarantino.
I've got some thoughts on the Tarantino things. I'm going to say that this is a bad idea.
I'm with you.
And the reason I think that is because if you look at the works that Quentin Tarantino does, he's really good at and loves doing this. Is he's going to show you like a box of pencils, right? I mean, I'm just using this as a metaphor. He's going to take those pencils and he's going to make them the most amazing array of pencils. He's going to sharpen them to the point where they're katana blades. It's going to be spectacular. It's going to be memorable. It's going to be quotable. Okay. That's what Quentin Tarantino does. He does these amazing works of art. I mean, you know, in a film world, these go on the wall compared to other renditions of possibly the same story. If you've seen Four Rooms, his room that he directed is definitely like a spike in its energy and everything. Anyway, I guess when you apply that to a real life story where people died, I just think that real life story remakes ought to be done with a sense of humility about them. And I don't think that his style of art is going to cater to that in any way.
Let me throw out just a possible example of what this could be. Now, I don't know if it's a retelling of the Manson family murders. I don't know how much information he's really given on this. But what if...
There's not a lot of info on it.
Hypothetically speaking, what if this is kind of like I can't remember, what was the Summer of Sam movie? I think it was called Summer of Sam with Adrian Brody from a couple years ago. Really wasn't about
more than
Sam.
A few years ago, but yeah.
Okay, 15, 20, whatever it was. Point is, it wasn't really specifically about the murders as it was the murders going on and just the feel of the town at the time and a story that was more the backdrop of it. Possible that it's going to be something like that. I mean, if he goes that direction with it, where the Manson family or the Tate Bianca murders, if that's the more of the backdrop of the movie, it could be something interesting. But I mean, it's too soon to really give a shit one way or the other. If you want my honest God opinion.
No, I hear you. You're right. There's probably a way to pull it off, but my guess is no.
I gotta disagree there, but I mean, just because Tarantino, like you said, I mean, he does like these really sharp, really controversial movies, especially with Samuel L. Jackson. He's talked about how he says nigger and fuck and blah 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 and all this other stuff. Here's the thing, though, that has been told at least 36 times. I think we've seen just about every angle we could possibly see on Charles Manson. And being a fan of serial killers and their forensic pathology myself, the thing about serial killers is usually we're attracted to what made them do it. What is this person like? And frankly, Manson really isn't that interesting. For the time, it's like he's acted crazy just to live up to people's expectations. But I mean, there's so many other stories out there that are far more interesting, like the Green River Killer, for example. There's a lot of other, even Ed Gein, as famous as he is. I mean, we get Leatherface, stuff like that, but we don't really know a lot about him. So I think there's a lot of, H.H. Holmes, somebody brought that up. There's so many other controversial and charismatic people that we could talk about, just even charismatic cult leaders, I mean, even Jim Jones, we've heard that story, but I mean, no one has been talked more about Manson. There's enough. I think there's better source material. I don't know what kind of grab this is. I think this is ridiculous. And frankly, I think since Tarantino's editor, Sally Menke, away, and I think that was while he was doing Django, if I'm not mistaken, she kind of let him off the leash. And once he's unleashed and doesn't have somebody reining him in and someone telling him no, it's indulgent, a little ridiculous. So I don't really hold hope for this. I want him to get back to Kill Bill 3 personally. Enough. Let's get Kill Bill 3. Let's finish that story before we move on to another.
Right.
That's what I.
Hey, you know what rhymes with Tarantino?
Oh my God!
Serrano.
Whatever. Oh God.
It's true.
And besides, he like a Kill Bill 3 while Uma Thurman still lets him touch her feet. So right. let's get that out of the way. Yeah. All right. The last thing. All right. The last thing we wanted to talk about, we did get a quick mention, and I think Adam has this actually. Rick from 13X Studios has given us just a little bit. We're not going to really go that much into it. This is more of a save the date, but Friday the 13th. Now, it falls in October this year. It is Friday the 13th. There's going to be a lot of huge events, so you want to put a pin in this one. This is going to be at Gods and Monsters. Anyway, Adam, based of what's going on?
Yeah, it's so I guess the name of the event is it's called Friday the 13th Camp Blood Celebration. Is that right?
I think so. I think that, that's the first thing that we've heard.
Yeah, so this is October 13th, Friday. It's at Gods and Monsters. There's going to be like a whole bunch of stuff going on. They're going to doing stuff like sketch contests with Nikki Voorhees for prizes. Costume contest is going to be there. They're going to be doing a trivia contest. There's going to be a raffle. They're going to take their new bar that I was just talking about, Vault 5421, and they're going to theme it out completely for Friday the 13th, which is kind of cool. I wonder how in depth that's going to be. If it's anything like the current theme, it's going to be amazing. Yeah, they're just going to decorate the whole place, do the lobby up. They're going to have maybe live music or a DJ or both, but there's definitely going to be a party vibe going on there by the sound of it. They're going to some artists are going to be there. Emily pardon my pronunciation, Emily Serpico, I don't know, from Face Off.
Serpico, yeah, Emily Serpico.
Serpico, thank you. Ryan James, he's the producer of Kevin Smith's biopic, Shooting Clerks. Ryan James is going to be there, not Kevin Smith. That would be cool, but no.
We never know. It's early. We don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We don't know anything. Mitch Hyman, he's the executive producer of Bubba the Redneck Werewolf. He's going to be there. Yeah, and we're gonna do a little meetup there too, right? Right, Demmie?
We're actually gonna put something together ourselves. Yes, I know. All right. Yes. Yes, I know. Okay. All right. Here. Go away. Ciao. New and improved. Okay. But yes, as Dandridge says, if you can't understand Dandridge, I know he's got a bit of an accent. But we are going to be doing a live webcast from there, the group of us. And not only are we going to do a webcast, we have some giveaways that are going to be planned. And we're going to be hosting a spooky meetup, since the spooky fam likes to get together. We're probably going to do something a little special just for this. We're keeping the details under wraps for now since it's kind of early and we're still finalizing some things. But you can meet us there. You can see us there, live webcast. We may bring a couple guests on the air, giveaways, stuff like that. So just put a pin in that. And so there we go. Mm-hmm. And other than that, I don't think anything new has come out from the spooky camp. Rob, have I missed anything?
No, I think that we've got the 2 guest announcements and the poker tournament or the casino night. I think that's really all they've got at the moment. But I think towards the end of the month we'll start to see the information begin to flow.
Oh, thank you. Actually, that does remind me. And I did want to say this at the top of the program. I completely forgot. My bad. I did mention this in the last webcast, but a lot of people are always asking, when are they going to announce the guests? When are they going to announce the guests? When are they going to announce the guests? If you know anything about the Florida Con circuit, the beginning of July is always like Florida SuperCon, which is in Miami, Fort Lauderdale area. And there's also, San Diego Comic-Con, which is the huge thing, which is at, I want to say, July 20th to 23rd. Spooky staff likes to get those cons out of the way before they start making announcements. Now, there are some conventions, everyone's like, oh, well, they should start announcing 6 months early or whatever. Chiller, which is a very comparable con up in New Jersey. If you know anything about Chiller, they normally don't announce anything until like a month before the show. And then they just announce like everybody at once. That's how Chiller always works. You don't know anything until like a month before. So it's not uncommon for people to wait, we've got a couple. We've got John Kassir, we've got CJ Graham, but don't keep begging for requests. Spooky is working on, and they will always go above and beyond. They've never let the fans down as far as a guest list. Your mileage may vary, but they always do a great job of bringing back fan favorites and bringing new blood in. After the end of the month, I'm sure we're going to see some really big names. We'll see some headliners, after San Diego Comic-Con. So just clench your asshole a little bit. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Adam, you look very concerned there.
No, I'm not concerned. I'm just mentally celebrating the fact that in 2018, Neve Campbell's appearance in the movie Hot Air, she's going to be playing alongside the Taylor Russell, who was in a horror film called Dead of Night back in 2015. She's really hanging out with people of her own the cut of her jib, the horror people. It's good to see Neve Campbell being both relevant and spooky.
You know what? We need to get some Hot Air shirts. We're just going to need to put the hashtag Hot Air. It's going to need to be a thing.
Well, we've got to.
Okay, so if we bring Neve Campbell back, obviously that's what we're going to be asking. We need a Hot Air photo op, because not just CJ Graham, with the Friday 13th mask. We're going to need some Neve Campbell in Hot Air. That's just going to need to be a thing.
I'm going to dominate the QA. I swear, I'll dominate that QA.
Guess that. That's going to be amazing. Oh God! So Rob, how drunk are you?
I'm good.
All right, that wraps everything up for this evening. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel because, like I said, we are moving everything over, all the content and everything. So make sure to subscribe to the channel. Check on Facebook. We'll be doing some discussions during the week and so on and so forth. As soon as Spooky lets us know anything, keep in on the rumors and whatnot, and guest requests. Of course, we'll sit there and bitch about guest requests because, Neve Campbell and Hot Air.
Yeah.
So, yes, and we'd like to thank Rob for joining us this evening, as well as Adam, our resident Neve Campbell expert.
Yes, now.
Oh, yes, and thank you. Yes, you are so cute. Mwah. Thank you, Dandridge. Okay, you're gonna have to. I have to teach him fetch. I swear to God, I really have to teach him fetch. All right, thank you very much, guys. Tune in next week, and hopefully we're going to be working on production, have some more surprises for you guys. So, good night.